Scott, Fitness Enhancement has just won the Fitness Franchise of the Year award. How does that feel being the owner?
Yeah, absolutely amazing. We've been franchised for 10 years, as you of course know, many people here probably know, but this is just something that started as a goal 24 years ago when I was a teenager, of going, gee, it'd be great to build this personal training business Australia-wide and really make a big impact around the country instead of on my local town. So it's, literally 24 years in the making and 10 years of really executing what a successful franchise is for us. So yeah, it's pretty surreal.
Wow, and when you started the business, did you have any visions of being the franchise of the year, or did you see yourself even franchising out?
Yeah, the funny thing is I did. I probably had weird dreams as a 19-year-old, right? So,
I guess that's not what most 19-year-olds think about,
yeah,
but hey.
I won't take it as a compliment, but yep. I kind of did. It was always, as anyone knows, my story knows, it was me going to the gym sort of as a introvert, not really comfortable in it, going, I feel really awkward here. Other people do too. The people who need to come here the most are probably never going to walk in the door. So when it came to becoming a personal trainer, because I had a passion for helping people as an entrepreneurial person, it just made sense to do that. And then it was very quickly, I was sort of like, there's no one else doing what I'm doing really around the country. It's some great small little businesses like me, but no one's doing it on a bigger scale. So yeah, that was really where it was. And it's taken a while to get there, but we're here now.
Now, to my understanding, I hear that you beat out very big companies, very big multinational companies, such as Anytime Fitness, and we're only a fraction of that size. How does that work? How did that happen?
Well, you have to ask the judges that one, but I am sure not complaining. Look, this was our governing body, AUSActive. We're nominated, we put an application, said the great work we're doing, and yeah, the judges thought we were the best out there, which is absolutely amazing because, yeah, as you said, Anytime Fitness would be the biggest with 400 or so locations in Australia and about 2,500 around the world, I think.
So many worldwide,
and of course,
everywhere.
Of course, our actual businesses are bigger than each one of ours. Our businesses are quite small in comparison. So the good thing for franchisees, we're really affordable to start. Obviously, I think we're doing some really unique things in the industry, and I'd like to hope that's what made the difference for the judges.
Definitely, and with the criteria that they used, I'm sure that there was things that set Fitness Enhancement apart from Anytime Fitness. And you mentioned doing unique things. Could you speak a little more to that?
Yeah.
What sort of unique things?
Yeah,
that
sure.
We're doing?
Well, I think within the finalists, there was 10 finalists, and there was sort of the mainstream 24/7s that are all, to be honest, reasonably similar. They all do a great job, but reasonably similar. And there was a few sort of boutique ones or other PT ones, so KX Pilates, Strong Pilates, and Vision would be probably the three main ones. They've all got, as with us, their own unique way of doing things, which is great to see out diversity within our industry. But I think we're probably the most unique with our mobile PT and our NDIS registration.
Definitely, it's not something you see every company doing, and sort of sets Fitness Enhancement apart.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, explain a little bit more about NDIS registration.
Yeah, so NDIS registration, for those out there who don't know, most people have heard of it but don't quite know what it is. It's government funding to help someone with a disability essentially live that life that everyone deserves to be able to. Personal training is funded, but that's very difficult to get. So we're registered for personal training and core support. So essentially we're also a disability support company in that respect as well. And we are the only fitness franchise at all with any NDIS registration focused on disabilities, and the only fitness company of large or small or independent or franchise or whatever to have NDIS registration for core supports and essentially be a disability support company. So that's something really unique that we're really passionate about, being able to help people. And look, I'm hoping the judges there agree, because I know that is something that we do an amazing job with compared to the rest of the industry about inclusiveness within our industry.
Definitely, yeah. And I imagine that factored in quite a bit. Now, you mentioned also the mobile personal training, which is also something that seems to be quite unique.
Yeah, exactly.
That we do, and could you speak a little more to that?
Yeah, so in our franchise model, we have 100% private studios, like mine we're sitting in now, which is separate private little rooms. So compared to the gyms where it's sort of crowds, weights, poses and so on, that's quite unique. We got a professional appointment, it should be private. But our mobile personal training is what we've really grown, and that's what's taken us across 8 cities now. And so that's quite unique. There's no other franchise system or large company Australia who does what we do with mobile personal training whatsoever. So for the franchisees too, that also really gives them a really affordable business model to get into. You get those same perks of owning, a bricks and mortar franchise, except it's a whole lot cheaper when you don't have bricks and mortar and all the very expensive equipment inside those four walls. So it's an affordable option for PTs who go, I don't want to try and figure this all out myself. I don't want to do gym rent because that's not really a real business. I want to have a real business and go into business with someone who knows what they're doing and has a tried and proven system. So we're the only one that does it anywhere near our price point because we're largely mobile.
True, and I mean, it is such a barrier for so many PTs to, they have this great idea, they want to start their own business, but then they look at the cost of either gym rent or renting out a space or whatever it is, and they quickly look at it and they go like, there's no way, I can't do that. Yeah. So with mobile personal training and not having to have that bricks and mortar set up, it's going to be way more affordable.
Exactly, it's way more affordable, and then so it is an affordable amount for people. To put it in perspective, it's ballpark comparable to someone going into gym rent across the long term. So that is quite an affordable price to set up a business, go on and grow as a whole team of staff members working for you, and to put in comparison to the rest of any bricks and mortar franchise within the fitness industry, it's a tiny fraction of the price. The other one as well, people tend to find what we do a lot more rewarding as well, because you're helping, Jared here's one of our PTs of course, you're helping clients face to face genuinely achieve their goals. You're not just selling memberships and hoping they don't show up, which is unfortunately how a lot of our industry tends to work. You're face to face, and if someone doesn't show on you, we know you're onto them, and that's what you've got that passion to do and really make a difference in their lives.
Then you can actually help someone instead of just watching someone's direct debit come out and not seeing them for weeks.
Look, that's a business model. Sure, it works for some, but it's not what we're about here. We're about actually changing lives, and this is how we do it.
So rewind back 10 years, and it sounds like things were going really well. Your business was up and running.
Yep.
And that was when you decided to franchise. So with things going great, what made you decide to franchise at that point?
Yeah, good questions. The backstory, we've been in business 24 years now. 14 years in, I decided to franchise. Probably took me 4 years to figure out how to get things going really, really well in my business, because it doesn't happen overnight. So we had 10 years of amazing success, and we'd gone from just my studio here to having mobile personal trainers across the Gold Coast and the south side of Brisbane. It's going amazing. The reason we franchise, well, first of all, I want to make a real impact around the country, and that's why I stretched from the Gold Coast to stay into Brisbane. And we ran into the same problem again and again, which is it's really hard to get amazing people who treat it like it's their own business, because it's not their own business. And that's where franchising is absolutely perfect, because there's people out there who are desperately going, I've got my passion, I'm building my business, I'm a great trainer, I'm a great person. To be honest, they're not very good business owners and marketers, and they need help with that. Us on the flip side, we're going, we've got a great business model, we've got great marketing, we've got great systems, but when someone's in another city, you can't just hire a staff member and expect them to do an amazing job. So that's where that really comes together, and it's really about joining forces. So we work together as a team, and that's a franchise model. Franchise is a very generic term, but that's personally how I see it, is we get a business partner who does what they do great in their local territory, and then we support them with what we do great. And it's worked so far.
Amazing. And you spoke to the difference between hiring someone to own a franchise and just hiring someone maybe as a trainer that's in another location, and you said it's a little bit harder to have them be motivated. Could you speak a bit to that, and any experiences that might have led you to sort of think, okay, maybe I do need to franchise?
Yeah, absolutely. Staffing is always a harder thing. I think whether you're a personal trainer or a cafe owner or a gym owner, everyone's going to say staffing is the hardest thing out there, and you can get it right. So obviously Jared's a staff member, we got that one right. So,
I like to think so.
so we can absolutely get it right, but the difference is Jared's here in my local city, and we can see each other the whole time and talk the whole time, and I've got 20 or so trainers working in my local franchise any one time. I'm still a franchisee as well, so we can manage that. But when you've got people in different cities, it's a whole lot harder to do that. So we'd always have one or two problems. We would have people simply treating it like a job that didn't matter, and it's hard to hold them accountable in another city. And then of course the big thing is clients. Clients don't get looked after, and if someone's not looking after and respecting their clients, and to be honest, also respecting the business they're working for, that's really tough. It's hard to go anywhere with that. So we consistently struggle to get people who treat it like their own business, because of course it's not their own business. So we'd struggle there. And on the flip side, we would also then sometimes have people who would be doing amazing with us, absolutely amazing, and they'd leave because there's no career advancement. If you're a mobile PT working for a company, and you can't go anywhere with that, then if you're career orientated, you're going to leave. So franchising for us then gave those people the opportunity to step up and go to the next level. And we've had, especially in Brisbane, which is obviously the closest to Gold Coast where we are, the bulk of our franchisees have been staff members who have gone, I want more and I can achieve more, and it's been absolutely perfect. So we've had some of our people with the company for more than 10 years across staff member to franchisees. So yeah, it's a win-win.
I was actually just about to ask you that, about how that sort of changed the transition and allowed for there to be a progression from a staff member to now being a franchisee. And would you say progressing from a staff member to a franchisee, would you say it's helped those franchisees in that position when they had first started out?
Yeah, absolutely. Because they also know everything good and bad about us. We know everything good and bad about them. So it's kind of like, it's a funny analogy, but everyone kind of gets it. It's kind of having like a very long engagement before you get married, right? It's good to really know someone well before you get into a very serious personal and financial arrangement with them. So because that can be the downside of franchising sometimes, is you just meet someone, great, going to buy a franchise, but they don't know you that well and you don't know them that well. So that's a really good thing with staff members progressing to a franchise option. And then if it is someone we've just met buying a franchise, that's totally okay too, but that's then why there's a lot of due diligence as well, especially on our side. We have to, and this is franchise code stuff, we have to then go and really give them a full disclosure document of everything about us, so they then really know everything about us. And of course, good old Google, get on Google and do your research and recommend as well there.
And luckily, if they look it up on Google, then there's lots of good reviews. So
exactly, yeah. And look, there's one reason we've been in business for 24 years. We do a great job. That's it. At the end of the day, you can't last 24 years and then franchising consistently and steadily grow for a decade without doing a great job. It's as simple as that. Who cares how good someone's done for a couple of years? There's franchisees at the end, franchise systems are the in thing. They boom for a couple of years and they might go bust when the novelty wears off, or but we've been doing this for 10 years now. So, and good, steady, consistent growth. So I think we've got at least another 24 years ahead of us here.
Yeah, let's say so. Because I think in this industry especially, like it's so hard to build a business and then keep it going. Like you mentioned the ones that maybe 2 years they do really well and then they might bust after that. But to actually keep something sustainably growing and going in the fitness industry is very challenging. So what are some things that you've done maybe differently from those businesses in order to keep things running in a nice progression?
Yeah, I think the first one is really just trying to look after everyone within the business as well. And not that we get everything right the whole time, but the whole time we're always trying to look after our franchisees, our staff, and our clients. And be transparent and honest, under promise, over deliver. So that's definitely a big part of it. The other one is being able to adapt to change and look for those opportunities rather than just trying to copy what everyone else does. And I feel, especially in the fitness industry, you'll get a boutique gym, as they're called, your indoor boot camp type setup or your 24/7 type gym up, and then there's just a repeat of everything. Everyone just copies and tries to copy someone better, which is really, really difficult, and it creates that saturated market as well. So that's why it's not so much that they're not great ideas for some people. It's that it's more for me. I like to walk my own walk. It's look where the opportunities are, look at who needs help as well, and if it stacks up, I guess, ethically and financially, then that might be something to go into. And that's just how NDIS started. NDIS for us started as just one extra service we added on for the franchisees as our job to keep finding the opportunities for them. We thought it was going to be one extra great service, and it just went boom. And to be honest, more people know us for that, for the feasibility side now, than the couple of decades beforehand with fitness enhancement.
Yeah, it's funny. I think like for the first time, even since I've been here, I think Fit Your Ability, we get just as many, if not more, inquiries on the phone than Fitness Enhancement.
Exactly, and that name's only 2 years old. NDI is registered for 4 years, started the process 5 years ago, but actually sets creating its own brand and Fit Your Ability, 2 years old, and it does more than what we have. I've spent 24 years building, but it's that whole how many years to become an overnight success thing, right?
Right. When you started out Fit Your Ability, obviously doing disability fitness and working with the NDIS, that's something that hadn't been done before. Did you have any lashback? Did you have people thinking that's a silly idea?
Yeah, we had plenty. Some people were seriously like, it's such a small little niche. Is there enough people? And my answer was always, well, 17% of our population has a disability. Not all of them are on the NDIS, but 17% of our population has a disability. More people with a disability than go to a gym on a regular basis. So I think there's a big market there. So I think it's just those misconceptions about people not realising and just not thinking outside the square. The industry is very good at just cannibalising itself and everyone trying to steal market share, as opposed to just going, look, we got to just to genuinely help people, not just steal customers from each other. So yeah, definitely had some pushback, but that, to be honest, that inspires me more to make it work.
When you're talking such a big portion of the population too, like I think a lot of people don't realize it's that many people that have a disability and that many people that can be involved in fitness and still have access to these things.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Everyone should have the right to be able to go and work out and achieve their health and fitness goals, but we just unfortunately don't have that pushed heavily enough. That there are plenty of PTs, even outside of our company, there's plenty of PTs who can do a great job with disabilities, but without that awareness, without the NDIS registration, it makes it extremely difficult to be able to do that.
Definitely. Now, I know you mentioned before with a lot of gyms, a lot of 24-hour gyms and sort of niche type gyms, a lot of gyms will actually do that same thing. They might copy the same 24/7 template. When you started Fit Your Ability, did you have any other gyms copy that idea or do NDIS stuff afterwards?
Yeah, look, it is extremely common within, I guess, any business really, and I guess, as long as it's not in any kind of, trademark infringing way, imitation's the greatest form of flattery, right? So I get that, but if we think about your 24/7s and your boutique functional training ones, they've all taken a hefty amount of inspiration from each other. Aside from the first ones, very few are doing something completely original. So yeah, that has always been something that's been thinking, oh geez, it's just such an untapped market for us now. It's never good when look, it's great for the population, it's great for people when a competitor comes in because we want more people helping people with disabilities. But for our franchisees, our job is to make their business as successful as possible. So we are always keeping an eye on that. In the franchise sector, haven't got a single other one. As far as anyone that's bigger than one city, there's a couple of small competitors that are a tiny fraction of our size, but they offer a bit of a different offering to us, and they don't offer a business partnership or franchise model option. And then outside of that, there's a small handful of PTs who have gone and got an NDIS registration that are often part of allied health and so on. But to that, I think one of our problems still is awareness. We know, and Jared's our disability expos, the most common thing is at the expo, when we're the only fitness company out of 200 stands there, the most common thing, if they don't already know who we are, is I didn't know a personal trainer could help someone with a disability.
Yeah.
So I think if there's someone taking some inspiration from us, well, hey, if it helps everyone, that's not too big a deal. But we're well over 4 years into this journey. I think it'd take a lot to ever be a competitor that's any massive issue for us, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. And it sounds like Fitness and Fit Your Ability is the only company that's doing the franchising. Now, what if another company came in and started doing the franchising and started doing a similar thing?
Ooh, good question. Look,
what sets us apart?
I think it's I think if it's there's really two sides of it. It's one, it would be a company who's like me, started from nothing and built up, and they're a decade behind us in franchising, so that's a long way behind us to make any difference. On the flip side, if it's one of the humongous companies, one of those ones we just beat for Franchise Group of the Year, who are 100 times or 1,000 times our size, absolutely they've got the resource to do that. But to be honest, that's not their business model. Most of their business models are selling memberships that people will never use, and that's their business model. Or it's social media based fitness, as in their traction comes from flogging people in hard hit style workouts and getting it all over social media. So to go into disability is completely opposite to their business model, and I personally feel that's why we haven't had anyone do that yet. Whereas for us, helping people who couldn't or wouldn't go to our gym was already our business model. We just doubled down on it like nothing else. So it was a natural step for us. It's not stepping outside of who we are, which is what the case would be for any of the humongous brands out there.
Yeah, it sounds like that was quite similar to what Fitness Enhancement was doing before, and then Fit Your Ability was just an extension of that, but just able to reach more people.
Exactly. I mean, the first kind of blurred lines as to where each name starts and ends, but the first couple of years of NDIS registration, it was just Fitness Enhancement, Personal Training, NDIS registered, which is a bit of a mouthful. so hence why we went, eventually, we need a brand that resonates with the disability sector. So people see us as specialist disability fitness trainers, which is what we are, as opposed to some PTs trying to muscle in on the NDIS money, which, can be an accusation. And look, there are businesses out there who have gone in NDIS just purely for the cash. But people look behind the scenes, they'll see we've got a couple of decades of having a similar focus. So, but we still need a name. First impressions last, right? That said, straight away we are in the disability sector, not just PTs.
Definitely, and I had to laugh a little bit when you said PTs sort of muscling in on the disability sector. And what would you say sets apart Fit Your Ability personal trainer from just a regular PT who might be taking advantage of the NDIS?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, it is really hard for them to get in there and take advantage because they just probably won't be able to achieve the registration is part of it. So the good thing is there's a lot of cowboys in our industry where there's no mandatory regulation, as most of you guys probably know. And so within that, you get a lot of cowboys. You do not get that in NDIS registered PTs. And that's partly why Allied Health is very happy to give us clients the whole time, because they know it's that stamp of approval. They know we've been through the checks as well. So you don't get too many people muscling into it, but you still do get some people who are a bit, taking that gym vibe, and they're very good professional companies, but they're a bit sort of muscle focused. And that's why we also went for that name, Fit Your Ability, as well, because as soon as you have a business name that's about, flexing your muscles and, show off and et cetera, we all know the types of names and pictures out there, straight away it turns off the majority of people that you're trying to help. They don't need to know that you're ripped. They can tell with a collared shirt on. So focus on helping people, not reinforcing those bad stereotypes out there.
Right, and what would you say with Fit Your Ability is a bit different? What would you say the focus is, as opposed to just focusing on, like you said, on muscle and looking good?
Yeah,
so many gyms do.
The focus is first and foremost on the client. Whether someone has a disability or not, our focus is on that person, recognizing that their goals are probably different to your goals and different to my goals, and that's really big part of it. And I think if a PT is selfless like that in general, even if in their hobby they do like flexing a little bit, they're going to recognize that that's not what that person's goals are. That person's goal, especially in NDIS, that person's goal might be to be able to walk unassisted. It might be to be able to put shoes on by themselves. It might be able to, get a job one day. And you keep building your fitness and your independence and confidence through us. It's the way they do that. So it's realizing how unique every individual is, I think, makes a difference. And I don't think you can do that if you're focused on yourself.
Yeah. So for a personal trainer wanting to come on board and do some work with Fitness Enhancement and Fit Your Ability, what's the next step?
Yeah, next step, get in touch with us. We have two amazing options available. One is working for one of our franchises, like Jared does here. Perfect example. And that's a perfect option to someone who wants to have a job and to spend their days focused on helping people, changing lives. The other option is to own the location, and that suited that person who's probably career-wise, a bit beyond just having a standard job that's training people, has bigger aspirations financially as to what they want to earn, and probably enjoys actually sort of building something a little bit. But having said that, wants a tried and proven system of doing it rather than trying to reinvent the wheel themselves. That's where the business owner model comes in with us. But either way, jump on our website, check out more about us, and we'll sort of walk you through. And for us, it's just about, we don't really care if people work for us or they own a location. It's just about getting the right person in the right role so they can go on and do amazing things within their career with us, hopefully for many years to come. So check it out and follow the steps and see which is the right fit for you.
So now that you've won the Fitness Franchise of the Year award, what's the next step? Where do we go from there?
Yeah, well, look, this is absolutely amazing for us. We're already getting so many inquiries as the only NDIS registered PT company.
I can speak to that.
Yeah, exactly.
lots of phone calls.
Exactly. So, so we're already in so many inquiries that it's now just going to the next level. We're also, too, as I said, we are the only franchise at an affordable price. Affordable is relative to the person, I know, but we're a tiny fraction of the cost of any of the big bricks and mortar places. So it is an affordable one for most people listening. So yeah, now we've won this, and it's, hey, you don't get much more credibility than that. It's just absolutely flooded us with inquiries. We're already overwhelmed with it, as Jared can say, and we're just absolutely flooded with it. So I think for anyone listening, get in now. It is honestly, territories are selling. There's areas where we have no territories available left. We have really large exclusive territories. If you don't get in now, then odds are you will miss out, and there might be a job going with that franchisee. But as far as being a business owner, it is exclusive territories. So get in now, inquire now.
So when you mention an exclusive territory for a franchise, what's so important about that?
Yeah, so that's a really critical one. Now, if you're a PT, you're probably used to the whole gym rent thing. Everyone's competing against areas and gyms and so on. To take on as many people as want to pay rent there. We're not like that. We're much like any other franchise system, hence Franchise Group of the Year, where it's an exclusive territory. No one else can open up in your area. The key difference with us is our territories are big compared to some of the franchise groups out there. And that's one thing that helps us with this award too. So it means if you're in your area, in your whole region, there's only one franchisee allowed in there, and of course their staff members. Once your area is gone, it's gone, which means you simply won't get in. Now, the common thing we have happen is we have, and you can speak to this too, we have conversations with people like, that sounds really great, I'm just not ready yet, and then they call back at some other stage, and then the area is sold. So that's going to happen a whole lot more now that things are really booming after this award. So if you think it might be great for you in a year or 2 or 3, I suggest look at bringing your plans forward and start now. Really, once someone secured a deposit, they don't have any locked in time they must start next week or anything. It's quite a process to get up and running in line with the franchise code. So if you're thinking it might be for you at some time in the next however long, really you should be having a conversation now, push forward, see if it's the right fit for you now. If it is, great. If it's not, then at least you know you've explored the opportunities and you're not going to be coming back in a couple of years' time complaining that your area is sold.